What's going on YouTube? So do something a little bit different today. So normally I'll do like a mod, do a video on it. Um, Unless something changes, I'm gonna do multiple mods in this video, so it'll probably be longer. It'll be kind of more of a touch and go. I won't talk as much about each mod, but starting today with a AEM 340 pump. I have not had the fuel basket out of this car, so I don't know if the previous owners, there's two other owners, has replaced a fuel pump with something larger. If they did, great. Then I'll have an extra pump. If not, then we will put that in. I'll reconvene once I get further along in the process. All right, so I'm back. It's a few days later. I got the fuel pump installed. It really wasn't that difficult. There's some pretty good instructions. Cobb actually has really good instructions on it. Essentially, there's just some tabs under the seat that you push in, you pull up, seat slides out, you take the fuel pump basket out. There's a couple of pieces in there. It's a little bit of work to get them out. I basically use some Allen keys to pry the clips apart and slide it out. Got everything in. I used that one, and I believe it was Grimspeed was the other company that had a video. I'll link in the description. From here, we're going to move into the next step of what I've got going on. Like I said, it's going to be a multi-part video. So this box is empty, but it's the fuel pressure gauge. This box up here is not empty. This is the fuel pressure kit, fuel pressure reg, and then I took the gauge out of the other box and all the fittings and everything we need. A couple of Cobb boxes. This is going to be the sensor itself, ethanol sensor kit. There's all those parts. And then here is the fuel pressure sensor as well, which is recommended. And I took this Loctite out so I can use it for the fuel pressure reg. So what I'll do is I'll reconvene once I get a little bit further along. I have to get the car moved back a little bit. What I'm planning on doing is I need to purchase a tune from someone. I have a person who I want to use. I'm going to purchase the tune, and then I'll do that tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and get the fuel pressure regulator. I have to build the line. The line's not built with these. The instructions tell you to build it. So that's why you have that line right there. So I'll have to build a line, and then I'm going to get it all hooked up. I'm going to see if the car will run off of that. I believe it probably should. My understanding is factory fuel pressure is about 43.5% roughly, or 43.5%, 43.5 PSI. So that's what I'm going to set it to. Once I get it on, if the car starts and runs, I'm going to set the fuel pressure. We'll be good there. I may take it up and down the road. Additionally, until I get my map, because there's going to be some other parts I'm putting on. Obviously, with this much stuff, it's probably pretty fair to say that injectors are going to be going on. I have 1200cc Deechworks injectors. Problem is with those, you can't just put them in. Obviously, I think the factory injectors are 750s, so you have obviously a large difference there, but also like the timings on the injectors are different. So I can't just throw those in and even run like I considered running like a 1050 map from Cobb that they have their stage 3 map, and then just bumping the fuel pressure down, because it would kind of work out, but it's not going to work. So I'll reconvene once I have the fuel pressure regulator in, or I'm in the process of doing it. All right, so continuing on. Got the fuel pressure reg in. Had this line you have to cut to size. Made it just a little bit longer in case I have to make any other changes. I got the Cobb fuel pressure sensor in as well. It just slides in. So I did have issues with it leaking initially. I used the Loctite 545. It just said to put it on. There wasn't a lot of information on it. So I used that. Had serious fuel leaks I couldn't get rid of. So I went and bought this stuff, which is recommended by Cobb. There's no real main instructions. It just says assemble and tighten. Adjustments can be made for the first 24 hours. And I put it on, waited about 30 minutes or so, and it leaked really bad as well. So I pulled that apart, put the 545, went and looked on Loctite's website. They said to wait 24 hours, at least 24 hours. So we're going to try that. Tomorrow we'll see if it leaks. If it does, I'll talk to another buddy who has the same sensor. He used the PTFE tape, and we'll use that. But here's the why this is going to be moved. You'll see later in the video I'm putting a front mount on. So that'll be moved probably somewhere else where you can't see it. All right, so we still have a fuel leak. I talked to one of my buddies. He recommended some PTFE tape, so I'm going to use PTFE tape on that. I got to pick some up probably tomorrow. Obviously, this probably will not be drivable. Front mount intercooler from Turbo XS. Their instructions are useless. I'm just going to say that because they don't have any actual instructions. They just have a video. Appears that this bar on the back actually has to come off. Looks like it's only there to help hold the structure while it's being shipped. So that's going to have to come off. I still have the top mount on. I haven't taken it off yet. I may do that. I don't know. I'm going to at least get this on, keep the end tanks on. That way, if worse comes to worse, I can still drive it tomorrow. But I'll probably swing by, see if my wife will take me down and get some PTFE tape to get this fuel leak fixed. All right, so we're continuing on. It's the following day. So I think we're on today's Tuesday. So Sunday I started on the fuel system. Or was that? No, I'm sorry. I started on the fuel system Saturday. Come back in Sunday to try to get some things fixed. We still had the leak. Yesterday we started the front mount installation. I've got it on. I'm going to have to move these bolts down that way just to make sure they don't interfere with the bumper. Same thing on this side here. Pretty much piping's ran. I do have to put the adapter on for the blow-off valve. I do have to run and put the adapter on the windshield washer reservoir. So far, my recommendation on this is pretty low. There's not a lot of information. There's a couple of videos out there. There's the Turbo XS video, which there's no sound. You just have to watch it. And then there's another channel that did the same thing. So I was flipping between those. Really helped me kind of figure out, because it's not like it's just unbolt the front mount or the top mount, put the front mount on. You have to like space this out. You have to take your lower radiator support and you actually have to bend it back. So you have to like hammer it down. I'm not a fan of that. You have to modify this, which that's not even tight yet. So my recommendation is, if you want to save the money, by all means, I got this on sale for just at $1,100 for Christmas or Black Friday. ETS is like $1,600. My recommendation is spend the extra money after watching all the videos for that. Granted, that could change. I mean, once I get it on and see how it runs, I may like it, but at this point, it's the lack of directions, there's a parts list in there, but it really wouldn't have been that hard for them to put some step-by-step directions in the box. So, all right, so I am continuing on from where I left off. Not really sure where I left off. Intercooler piping's on. I got Deechworks 1200s. Deechworks is a local company. It's Oklahoma, which is obviously where I'm at, so I'm going to use their parts. A lot of people recommend IDs, 1050s or 1300s. We'll see how these work. They were significantly cheaper. I think those were, I don't know, maybe $50 more than ID 1050s. So, just got done watching a Smedia video. We'll take the intake off here. I'll have to take this pipe off. Should be able to get to the fuel rail there. Supposedly this is the more difficult one. On this side, I'm not sure what all has to come out. If the pump here has to come out, I know the battery's going to have to come out. This intercooler pipe's going to have to come out for the injectors. So we'll see how bad this side is. I've got my base map for my tuner. I will do a follow-up video on the process to that and how I liked it. All right, so I'm continuing where I left off yesterday. We got the intercooler pipe off on the hot side. That's off. I got the injectors in on this side. I went with the Deechworks. These are the factory injectors, pretty filthy. This bracket is an absolute nightmare to get off. So it sets here on the front. Smedia did a really good job. There's this bracket here on it that's really hard to get off. I'm sorry, this is the front part. This is the rear. There's these 3 bolts that you need to get out. The one on the bottom isn't terrible. This one right here is a little bit of a pain because it's over near the turbo. So basically I just used a ratcheting wrench like this and got it back there. That one's pretty beat up, but I got that off. I'm not going to put anything else back on the car until I check for fuel leaks. The other thing is I had to take this oil feed off. When I took the oil feed off, it's what Smedia recommended as well. Shout out to him because you can't get this bolt out right here. So I took that off. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't leak. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything on the car. I'm not going to put that bracket on yet. I will flash my base map onto the car and follow the procedure that I'm supposed to do for my tuner there. And I should be able to tell when I start it up if there's going to be an issue. From there, I'll check for fuel leaks here. I'll check for oil leaks. I'll check for fuel leaks here, as well as any other leaks. But I think this side, from my understanding, is the easy side. I've already got the battery out, got this charge pipe off on the cold side. Fuel pressure regulator should be able to work around that. I think you have to take this secondary air injector off. But I think after that, from my understanding, it's pretty simple once you take that off. There shouldn't be too much more to get to. So I am going to reconvene once I get that off of there. We'll see where it's at. Hopefully it's something quick. We can get in there, get it knocked out, and then start with our next part and next steps. All right, so I'm going to continue on. So I got the injectors on this side. I got the injectors on that side. I haven't got the rest of the car back together. I do have the flex fuel sensor plugged in here. I have it plugged in the TGV. I still have the line to run it underneath to the O2 sensor in the rear. I've still got to hook up the fuel pressure sensor. Now, what I want to say is this side is worse than the passenger side. Passenger side, you have that bolt by the wastegate that's a pain. This side, you have, I didn't even put it back on. It's right here. I just rage tossed it. So you have this in the front. You have this one, which actually I think yeah, it's like this. No, it's like this. So there's that. There's this one at the bottom, which you have to use like a swivel, and it's just a pain to get to. But this is the worst. You basically have about an inch of play. Back there, just under the TGV. So it's difficult to get to. You have to basically just kind of finagle your hand in there. I mean, obviously I'm not a small guy, so I've got, got some scratches and stuff on it, so it's not a big deal, but it's definitely a pain to get to. Putting it on, there's also that bolt right there. Make sure you unhook that when you're doing the rail. It makes it a lot easier because otherwise it's not going to move. So yeah, so basically where I'm at now is I've got that ran. I'm getting ready to hook up the TGV on that side, plug in the fuel pressure sensor, get this right here back on the car. From there, I'll hook up all my lines. I'm just going to probably, before I even do that, once I get the fuel system and the TGVs on, because I don't want to toss a code, I'm going to put the fuel pump fuse back in and cycle the car a few times, let it build some pressure. I may go ahead and flash the other map. That way I can look at the fuel pressure on the access port and see if it's dropping, which would indicate that we have a fuel leak. This side I don't think we're going to have any issues on. The other side I'm a little iffy on. We'll see. I lubed up everything. I followed the instructions. So I'll let you guys know how that works out. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and do a kind of follow up, let you know where we're at. So I'm currently idling the car. I'm getting ready to do my pull for my third revision for my E-Tune. Did have a little bit of issues with the injectors, the Deechworks injectors. I had a fuel leak about a week or so ago. I had to have the vehicle towed home because the injector started leaking. it wouldn't keep fuel pressure. I had like 7 pounds of fuel pressure, so I had to tow the car home, tore back into the engine. Ended up, if I can find the post, I will screen cap it here. Talked to a guy, and he recommended using 2 seals, 2 O-rings on the top part of the injector. I put 2 on there, lubed them up real good with the Deechworks lubrication grease stuff. Got it in there, twisted it a little bit, and got it to pop. You could feel it. From there, put it in. Everything has been kosher since. Double checked. I even cranked the fuel pressure. I got about 80 PSI on it with no leaks. Even under pulls, when I do pulls and it does build boost, we shouldn't be over about 75 pounds. So we should be fine there. To kind of wrap this video up, we've got the front mount on, it's a Turbo XS. We've got Deechworks 1200cc injectors. We got a AEM 340 liter per hour pump. We've got the fuel pressure sensor from Cobb. We got the Cobb flex fuel sensor as well. So we have all of those parts. They're all installed in the car. I'll do a follow-up once my e-tune's done. I'm going to start shooting, video talking about that here shortly, and I will kind of post that video later on the channel. But I appreciate everybody for watching, sticking through with the video. It should be a pretty long video. This has been going on for about 3 weeks or a month now, so hopefully everyone enjoys. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you don't, then just leave a comment in the description with any form of constructive feedback to try to help me get better at this. But I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.